He just tweeted out that he wants on the same card in October, I know it's months away, Ryan versus Devin rematch, Ennis versus Tio, and then the winners will fight each other, and the losers will fight each other in February.
The only fight I care about right now is Ryan Garcia.
I mean, I hope he keeps training with Derek James. That shoulder roll, that's amazing. It was a good performance. Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He stopped Jordan. Yeah, it was a great performance. It was a good performance.
In a thrilling main event set for May 2025, Ryan Garcia makes his highly anticipated return to the ring against Rolly Romero. Garcia's comeback follows a one-year suspension for a doping violation, while Romero aims to bounce back from a recent title loss and reignite his championship ambitions. Promoted under Turkey's Ring magazine banner, the fight will unfold at the iconic Times Square in New York City.
Kenkos destroy their numbers. People love knockouts, and you know Rolly Romero versus King Ryan Garcia, there's going to be a knockout. And either way, if Rolly Romero were to knock out Ryan Garcia, that would be hysterical. Ryan Garcia, he knocks out Rolly Romero, he becomes like this superhero. Because the whole Tony Weeks, Barroso thing, okay, the press conference would be crazy. Don't forget, Rolly Romero versus Gervonta Tank Davis, before the Ryan Garcia fight, that was his biggest fight. He made for the biggest pay-per-view draw for Gervonta Tank Davis. He's going to do the same. But don't forget, Gervonta Tank Davis, him versus King Ryan Garcia, did make history. And both of them were in the ring that night. So people want to...
Providing a spectacular backdrop for this electrifying showdown. Both fighters are determined to prove themselves, making this clash a must-watch for boxing fans worldwide. Ryan Garcia, boasting a record of 24-1 with 20 KOs, is set to return to the ring after serving a one-year suspension for testing positive for a banned substance following his April 2024 bout with Devin Haney. The suspension, which ends on April 20, 2025, temporarily halted Garcia's rise as one of boxing's brightest young stars. Known for his lightning-fast hand speed and devastating knockout power, Garcia has built a reputation for ending fights early, often with his signature...
Star boxer Ryan Garcia has tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance both the day before and on the day of a surprising victory over Devin Haney last month. This news comes from a letter by the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association. The testing samples were collected prior to the fight, but the result...
left hook. While the suspension was a step back, many experts believe his immense talent and potential remain untarnished. Determined to prove himself once again, Garcia is eager to reclaim his momentum and solidify his position as a top contender in the sport. In September 2024, Devin Haney filed a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia, escalating their already contentious rivalry to new legal and personal heights.
His team, for an anti-doping test you voluntarily took. You chose to take that test. What that got to do with Devin Haney and his team? I am a fan of Ryan Garcia. I think that Ryan Garcia has the look, he has the vernacular, he has the presentation, where if this dude won in the boxing ring, he could promote the sport in ways most people couldn't in this country. We also saw you, Ryan Garcia, come to the weigh-in 3 pounds overweight. That doesn't sound like somebody who's disciplined enough to be as legitimate as possible and follow the rules and regulations. Now, does that mean you did steroids? No. I prefer to give you the benefit of the doubt, but the fact of the matter is, Ryan...
The lawsuit, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York, accused Garcia of battery, fraud, and breach of contract. The legal action stemmed from Garcia's doping violation following their highly anticipated title fight in April 2024 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The fight, which Garcia initially won by decision, was later overturned to a no contest.
Hey, she's a little cold, but we're okay.
It is a little chilly out here at the moment.
Ruined the outfit. You can't wear the jacket today.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you, Turkiala Sheikh's #1 fight that he wants to make is going to be the rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. What do you make of that?
If Ryan Garcia wants it, then that's what he wants. But me personally, I see no need for it. Ryan Garcia destroyed him, and that's the bottom line. So I think we have to make the best fights possible, and you know, there's fighters here like Teofimo, there's fighters here that we can match up Ryan with anyone and make a terrific event.
I'm going to ask you, Teo's right here. Obviously, that was one of the fights I said I wanted to see the most in 2025. Conversations, possibly? I know that he's a little bit intertwined in something complicated at the moment, but obviously, if and should he be free later in the year, maybe a fight between those two?
Yeah, absolutely. If they're the best at the moment, if that's what people want to see, we have to make it. I mean,
After he tested positive for a banned substance, Haney's lawsuit alleged that Garcia's use of performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, constituted fraud, as it violated the terms of their fight agreement. According to Haney, Garcia had falsely claimed he was attempting to make weight naturally, but instead relied on banned substances to gain.
I go down, man. I really don't care about either of the two. You know, Rolly he too much for me, right? Ryan has a lot of potential, but at the same time, you know, I just ain't feeling him too much. Yeah, so Ryan has all of the talent, right? Formal, boy can execute, he's not scared. You see what he did when he got in there with Tank, leading up to the knockout, right? Rolly has a big mouth and has the mentality to back it up. I honestly don't feel like that'll be enough. I think Ryan, especially the last fight with Tank, grew a lot since then, and I see him, if that fight ever takes place.
Unfair advantage in the ring. Haney also argued that he would never have agreed to fight Garcia if he had known about the doping. In addition to Garcia, the lawsuit named his promoter, Golden Boy Promotions, and his strength and conditioning coach, Dave Scooter Hanig, as co-defendants. Haney accused them of enabling or being complicit in Garcia's doping violation.
Really? You think he should reconsider fighting him?
Man, I can't make that decision for him, but he got stuff he's dealing with. And it's gonna be hard for him to deal with that being in a training camp, because that ain't time for self-care, that's not time for counseling, that's time to get ready for war. So he's in a really tough spot, having signed that fight, and then these types of things are starting to come out. So I'm praying for him, and I wish him nothing but the best.
I love that. Now, what's your advice? If you had to give some kind of advice to him, what would you tell him?
The lawsuit sought damages, including a full accounting of the event's profits, as Haney was contractually entitled to 47% of the earnings. Haney's legal team emphasized the broader implications of the case, pointing out that Garcia's doping undermined the integrity of the sport and compromised the safety of the fight. Fighters step into the ring with the expectation of a fair and level playing field. A statement from Haney's camp read,
The weight, but you typically won't struggle again, unless, you know, you're not 15, 16 years old where you're growing and you might jump up 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes in a year or two because your body's filling out and growing. When you're doing this stuff in your 20s, you're most likely on something, you know. Ryan Garcia was a lightweight not that long ago. Devin Haney was a lightweight not that long ago. I'm not gonna rail against Ryan Garcia. I'm definitely disappointed. It doesn't shock me though. I remember first being suspicious of Ryan Garcia when he knocked out Romero Duno in 1 round. A while back, actually. Duno was a very durable guy. Garcia hadn't shown that kind of punching power, especially one-punch power, to that point at that time in his career, and he barely hit the guy. He hit the guy with like a partial left hook, and you could tell Duno went out, like, because one leg went one way, one leg went another way. So you can't fake that kind of knockout. Like, his leg went 2 different directions, and he went down hard, and he was over in 1 round. And I remember looking at that fight and thinking, that's weird, man. That's a special kind of power. You don't just wake up with that kind of power. You know, you either had that or you haven't, and he hasn't had that. You know, ever since then he's been known as a hard puncher. You know, and so on and so forth. But again, I'm not gonna make a stink of it, because again, you have no failed drug tests, so everybody rails against you anyway. You got a whole bunch of blowhard groupie fans anyway. They rail against you no matter who you go after. You got guys that have failed outright, like
Garcia's actions violated that trust and put Devin Haney at unnecessary risk. The April 2024 bout between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia was one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Both fighters were at the peak of their careers, and the stakes were high. The fight itself was a back-and-forth battle, with Garcia ultimately edging out a decision victory. However, the victory was short-lived.
Exactly where you can see, all right, is my pick right or is my pick wrong? Two, to continue what I'm going to initially say is that Ryan Garcia didn't make the weight, people. I don't care. Like, you have a contract to make a weight. And I don't think Ryan Garcia intended to make the weight at 140 pounds. You know, even after the fact, Ryan was like, well, that's why I always fight at 143. You know, there's no way I was going to make the weight. He knew even going into the fight that he wasn't going to make the weight to begin with. You know, which is one, not right. Two, you're contracted to make 140, and you go into the fight now with an advantage. You know, so what he learned from Gervonta Davis was he took it into this fight against Devin Haney. And, you know, some people say, well, Haney, you know, he took the money, and Haney, of course, he had to, because he was damned if he didn't, damned if he don't. It's a huge event, man. And now you pull away, now you're going to piss off a lot of folks. The zone, promoters, everybody going to start, oh, he's scared, he's that, he's this and that. It's only 3 pounds, it's only 3.
Weeks after the fight, news broke that Garcia had tested positive for a banned substance. The New York State Athletic Commission swiftly overturned the result, ruling the bout a no contest. Garcia's reputation took a significant hit, and he was handed a 1-year suspension from boxing, which sidelined him until April 2025. For Haney, the overturned result wasn't enough to make up for what he saw as a betrayal.
He's a, aggressive, crazy dude. Lead up will be crazy. Yeah, and I want that, he has the title, technically. But yeah, let's do it. Just, I don't know if you have a real injury or not, but heal that shit. He'll beat your ass.
Is it gonna happen? Do you want it to happen?
I shall see.
You shall see?
I shall see.
Yeah? What do you make of him skipping the Haney fight for a fight with you?
No opinion on that. No opinion on that either.
So what happens in a fight between you guys? How do you feel?
This wasn't just about winning or losing, Haney said in an interview. It's about principles. I put my life on the line every time I step into that ring. I deserve better. So does the sport. Ryan Garcia, known for his outspoken nature, did not take the lawsuit quietly. He turned to social media to address the allegations, defending himself and downplaying the severity of Haney's claims. I'm being sued for simply doing my job, Garcia posted on X, formerly Twitter. I've always given my all to this sport, and I'll continue to do so. This lawsuit is just another attempt to tarnish my name. Garcia's legal team argued that the lawsuit was baseless and motivated by Haney's frustration over the fight's outcome. They claimed that Garcia's doping violation, while unfortunate, did not justify the sweeping allegations made in the lawsuit. Ryan Garcia has taken full responsibility for his actions and served his suspension, his attorney stated. This lawsuit is nothing more than a publicity stunt. Golden Boy Promotions, also named in the lawsuit, released a statement denying any wrongdoing. The promotion company expressed confidence that the coup